Hello students, welcome to online course of Mechanical Measurement and Metrology. Myself Abhishek Trivedi from Mechanical Engineering Department at LJ Institute of Engineering and Technology. In the previous lecture, we have completed our chapter Comparators. In a particular comparators, we have discussed the introduction about the comparators, then the basic functional requirement of the comparators, then we have classified the comparators, as well as we have discussed the different mechanical comparators, pneumatic and optical comparators. Today we are going to start our new chapter. The name of the chapter is System of Limits, Fits, Tolerance and Gauging. This is a very important chapter for the measurement purpose. Nowadays, as the mass production era has been drastically improvised, then the requirement of the limits, the requirement of the fits and tolerance, as well as the requirement of the gauging system is a very prime concern for the mechanical industries. So, in this particular chapter, we are going to discuss the types of limit, how the limiting system has been designed, Indian standard system for limiting the components. Then we are going to discuss fits and the types of fits which are usually available for the mechanical industries. Then we are going to discuss tolerance, the different types of tolerances, then the tolerance zone, then Indian standard system for the tolerance grades and all we are going to discuss. At the end of the chapter, we are going to discuss gauging system and the types of gauge, how the gauge has been designed and what is the wear tear allowances and what are the different factors which are directly affect on the gauging system. And then we are going to complete our chapter. Today we are going to start the first topic, tolerance. Now first of all, what do you mean by tolerance, or we can say what do you understand by tolerance? As in the particular case of comparator, if you have remembered that in the very first lecture of the comparator, I have told you that suppose my company has to manufacture the shaft. Let's say we are going to design, or we can say we are going to manufacture 10,000 shafts in a single day, and the shaft having the dimension exactly 100 mm. Now, as you all know that to manufacture the shaft of 10,000 number nowadays is very easy task, but to manufacture the shaft having the number 10,000 and having the dimension exactly equal to 100 mm, it's a very difficult task. We can say it's a near to impossible task in a day for a single company. So what the firm, or we can say what the industry will decide, the two range in which we are going to accept our workpiece. The first one, let's say 100.2 mm. The second one, let's say 99.8 mm. So by considering these two range, I can say that whatever the shaft having the dimension exactly equal to 100.2, exactly equal to 99.8, and whatever the dimension which are fall in between these two range, all these shafts are accepted by the company. For a single firm to manufacture 10,000 shaft having the dimension exactly 100 mm, having the probability, let's say 3 to 4%. If we are going to use a perfect instruments with perfect human kind, as well as we are going to arrange such arrangement that we are going to use a perfect system, then I can say that max to max we can produce 25 to 30% of the shaft having the exact dimensions. Other than that, all the shaft are going to be scrapped, they all are rejected, because we are choosing a perfect particular limit of the dimensions. But what we have done, we have took the limit, let's say upper side 100.2 and the lower side 99.8. So there is a chance that I can manufacture the shaft approximately 98 to 99% of the shaft which are fall under these particular categories. So to increase the acceptance ratio, or we can say to decrease the scrap or to decrease the rejection ratio, we are supposed to provide some sort of range, for the acceptance of the workpiece. This particular range is known as a tolerance. Now what do you mean by tolerance? Suppose I will draw a horizontal line having the dimension, let's say 100 mm. Suppose this is my reference line. Then what I have considered plus or minus 0.2 mm, that is my considerable range. It means on the upper side the dimension, let's say 100.2, and on the bottom side let's say dimension 99.8 mm. So upper side and lower side from the basic reference line, whatever the zone has been generated, the zone is known as a tolerance zone. The particular range in which we are accepting our workpiece, that particular range is known as a tolerance. If your range is above the zero line, or we can say above the reference line, then it is known as a upper tolerance. If it is below the reference or below the datum line, then it is known as a bottom tolerance. So guys, this is a basic concept of the tolerance and why we are using or why we are preferring the tolerance: to increase the acceptance ratio, to reduce the rejection ratio, and to safeguard the economy of the industry. This is our basic intention behind the acceptance of the tolerance. Though there is a fact that if we are increasing the tolerance, or we can say if we are increasing the tolerance zone, then it will directly leads to the formation of some sort of errors, formation of some sort of leakage, formation of some sort of tightness, or we can say looseness in the assembly. But up to some limit we are going to accept all those errors, or we can say all those fitting problems, because it will directly safeguard the economy, it will directly safeguard the monetary terms value of the particular tolerance. So guys, this is the basic concept of the tolerance. Now let us understand, what do you understand by the tolerance? By any manufacturing process, no any parts can be made identical with the design parameter. As I have told you that we are not supposed to produce a shaft having the exact dimension of 100 mm in a single day by a single worker, by a single machine. So in the production process, regardless of how well it is designed, there might some chance of variations occurs due to the operator error, tool wear, defective raw materials, and so on. There are so many chances for the generation of the errors, and just because of generation of the errors, there might some chance that we are not supposed to produce, or we are not supposed to manufacture the part exactly identical with the design parameter. So it is next to impossible to produce the part having the exact size. Some variations needs to be allowed, and those particular variations are known as a tolerance. The permissible level of the tolerance depends on the functional requirement in which cannot be compromised. As I have already told you that as you are increasing the zone of the tolerance, you are directly affecting the efficiency of the given component. So we are permitting the tolerance zone, we are permitting the tolerance value, but it will not compromise your functional requirement of the given part. We are not supposed to compromise between the functional requirement or the basic requirement of the parts and economical factors. In this particular element, if we have to trade off between the functional requirement and the economical value, then we are going to compromise for the economical value. We are not going to compromise for the functional requirement of the given component. No any component can be manufactured precisely to the given dimensions. It can be made in the lie between upper limit, or we can say lower limit, or maximum limit and minimum limit. As we have already discussed that we are not supposed to manufacture the part having the 100 mm diameter, but we can manufacture the component having the upper side 100.2 mm and the lower side 99.8 mm. It means we can manufacture the 10,000 shaft. Out of 10,000, maybe 95%, 96-98% of the shaft fall under the category of 100.2 mm to 99.8 mm. This particular zone in which the maximum number of the shaft falls, those particular zones are known as a tolerance zone. This particular concept is known as a tolerance. Now we are going to discuss the types of tolerance. The first one, that is the unilateral tolerance. As I have already told you that suppose 100 mm, that is my basic requirement, and if 2 mm on the plus side and 2 mm on the minus side, it means 100 plus or minus 2, I will accept those all parts. So I can say that maximum value of the acceptance, that is 102 mm, 100 mm, that is my basic size, or we can say nominal size, and 98 mm, that is my lower limit till which I can accept the workpieces. But suppose for some parts we are not going to accept a bilateral tolerance, or we can say we are not going to accept bidimensional value of the workpiece. Suppose I have to design a piston cylinder arrangement. Suppose the internal diameter of the cylinder, that is exactly 98 mm. If I have to manufacture the piston for the design, the maximum permissible size of the piston for the proper movement and for the frictionless movement 97 mm is fixed. It means, what does it mean? It means that we can manufacture the piston having the dimension 97 mm, we can manufacture the piston having the dimension 96 mm, 95 mm and so on. No any case we can manufacture the piston having the 98 mm diameter or more than that. We are not supposed to allow such kind of piston which can move inside the cylinder with proper frictionless motion. So this particular case stands for the unilateral tolerance. Now 97, that is the basic value, minus 2 mm, that is my tolerance zone. What does it mean? It means that from zero line you are supposed to move in the unidirectional motion. You are supposed to move in the unidirection. You are not supposed to move in a both the direction. You have to move either bottom side or either top end side. Suppose same case, if we are repeating the same case in a different manner, that I have already designed the piston, the outer diameter of the piston, let's say 95 mm, then whatever the cylinder is going to be manufactured by me, the cylinder itself having the diameter more than 95 mm, it's a very compulsion for the design of the cylinder that the diameter of the cylinder is more than 95 mm. So in this particular case I can say that 95 plus 2 mm, or I can say that 95 plus 3 mm. This plus sign shows that I am supposed to move in the upward direction only. From the zero line I have to move from in the upward direction only. There is no any chance that I can move in the bottom end side. So suppose for any component, if we are moving in the unidirectional motion, or we can say if we are going or if we are preferring only plus side or only minus side, then it is known as unilateral tolerance. If you are accepting both the ranges, let's say as we have already discussed that 100.2 mm in our example of the shaft and 99.8 mm, then this is known as a bilateral tolerance. It means you are moving in both the direction of the zero line. When two limit dimensions are only on the one side of the nominal size, or we can say either above or either below, then these kind of tolerance are known as a unilateral tolerance. Whereas bilateral tolerance, when the two limit dimensions are above and below the nominal size, that means on either side of the nominal size, then these tolerances are known as a bilateral tolerance. The figure shows unilateral and bilateral tolerance. The particular case, I am highlighting the case with the red color. This particular case is the case of the bilateral tolerance. As you can check, from the zero line you are moving in the upward direction as well as you are moving in the downward direction. So if you are moving in the upward and downward direction, then it is known as a bilateral tolerance. If you are moving in only upward direction, then unilateral tolerance. If you are moving only downward direction, then again this is the case of unilateral tolerance. Same way, if we are moving in the only upward direction, only positive side, then again this is the unilateral tolerance and this is also unilateral tolerance. So remember my words, from the zero line, if we are moving in only single direction, either plus side or minus side, then all these cases are fall under the category of unilateral tolerance. And if you are moving in both the sides, then it is known as a bilateral tolerance. So guys, this is the basic concept of the tolerance. So let's say unilateral and bilateral tolerances. Now we are going to discuss now the next topic, that is the geometric and positional tolerance. This is a very basic topic. Let us understand the geometric dimensioning and the tolerancing is the method of defining the parts which are based on how they function by using the some standard symbols. The diameter of the cylinders needs to be concentric with each other. Suppose I am going to design the different cylinders which are going to be fit inside one inside the another, let's say tandem cylinders, then I can say that all the diameters of the cylinder must be concentric. All the point of centers must be lined in the same single line. For the proper fitting, as I have told you that for the proper fitting between the two cylinders, both the centers of the cylinders must be in line. Positional or the three-dimensional tolerance exercise the control on the extent of deviation of the location of the feature from the true position. Symmetry for the three-dimensional case exercise the control on the extent of deviation of the median points between the two features from the specified axis or the center plane. whereas concentricity for the same case of the three-dimensional exercise the control on the extent of deviation of the median points of the multiple diameter from the specified datum axis. This is the basic concept of the geometric and the positional tolerance. Now we are going to discuss the tolerance and its effect on the economic factor of the industries. The tolerance is directly proportional to the economic factor of the industries. As the tolerance zone increases, the manufacturing cost of the product will decreases. Remember this. Suppose I have to manufacture the shaft having the 100 mm diameter. If I have provided the tolerance zone of, let's say, 0.4 mm, it means that on the top end side I will allow 100.2 mm, on the bottom side I will allow 99.8 mm. Then I have provided the range of 0.4 mm. For this 0.4 mm I will going to accept all the shafts. Suppose in a day I am going to manufacture 10,000 shaft, then there might some chance that approximately 70 to 80%, let's say, are fall under this particular range. For being precise, we are taking as an example 80% of the shaft that are going to be perfect in this particular range. It means out of 10,000, 2,000 shaft are going to be scrapped at the end of the day. So this will leads to formation of scrap, this will leads to formation of rejection of the workpiece, and it will leads to losses for the company. On the second case, suppose the same dimension has been provided, but now I am accepting the 4 mm as my tolerance zone. It means all the shaft below 102 mm and all the shaft above 98 mm are going to be accepted. Here I am taking the 4 mm as a zone of tolerance. It means I can say that probably 99% or more than that shaft are going to be accepted for this particular range. So I can say that if I am taking 99% as the ideal value, then I can say that out of 10,000 shaft might be chance that more than 100 or equal to 100 shafts are going to be scrapped by the end of day. So I can say that as I have increased the zone of tolerance, it will directly leads to reduction of formation of scrap, and once the formation of the scrap is going to reduce, then it will directly affect on the economic parameters. The manufacturing cost of the product will directly decreases, and it will affect directly on the economic factor of the company. But if we are increasing the zone of tolerance, then I can say that it will directly leads to formation of improper fitting, it will directly leads to reduction of the efficiencies. So it is not preferable that you are going to improvise, or we can say that you are going to decrease the particular zone of tolerance. You are supposed to accept a zone of tolerance up to some range, up to some limit. Beyond the some limit you are not going to accept the zone of tolerance, and below such limit you are not going to prefer the zone of tolerance. The figure, or we can say the diagram, shows the manufacturing cost versus work of tolerance. And as I have told you that if the zone of tolerance increases, it will directly lead to the reduction in the cost of manufacturing as the zone of tolerance increases, but it will directly lead to formation of improper fittings. So we are supposed to reject those kind of tendencies. So guys, today we have discussed what is the tolerance, how the tolerance has been defined, what is the basic concept of the tolerance. Then we have discussed unilateral and bilateral tolerance, then geometric and positional tolerance, and at the end of the lecture we have discussed how the tolerance, or we can say how the zone of tolerance will directly affect the economic factor of the industry. From the next lecture we are going to cover the concept, specification in the assembly, interchangeability in the assembly, and so on, different topics in the upcoming lectures. Till then, thank you.